Hey, Naj here, and in this video I'll show you how to make an open dominion Excel sim from start to finish in under an hour. If this is your first time making a sim, please, I encourage you to watch the whole video all the way through. If you are not and you're quite experienced or a veteran, you can probably just skip through, follow along the timestamps at the bottom. Before we get started, it's important for you to pick and maintain a plan throughout this so your sim becomes a little bit easier to handle. First, what kind of race are you going to play? Are you going to be a human or a merfolk or a goblin? What kind of land acreage are you planning on coming out with? 650, 700, 750? What kind of role or strategy are you planning on playing? Are you going to be attacker, explorer, converter? And within those, are you going to be a fast attacker or black op being explorer? And then finally, what kind of strategy of buildings are you going to have? Are you going to be kind of slow and efficient and go schools and diamond mines? Or are you going to be a mod kind of player and go guard towers and griffin nests early on to build an advantage that way? All those things matter in your sim, so pick those out. I'll put percentages here and you'll be able to use those throughout every single sim. So just do a little planning here and the rest will be pretty easy.
Okay, so how to get started making a sim. First, you need to get the Excel sheet made by Yami. You click on Join Discord, then you're in the Open Dominion Discord. You click on the Excel Sim tab, and then you click up here to Pinned Messages, and boom, we got the GitHub. You click on it, and then we'll see. Usually, I just look for the latest one 4 hours ago. Boom, OP Sim, test round 37.5. This will change round around, obviously, so just make sure you click and download the latest one. Boom, download raw file. Normally there'll be a security warning or something that you downloaded, and there'll be a little link here. It might be red, like with an X. You just click the little link here, it'll tell you how to get rid of it. Essentially, you just go to the file in your folder that you downloaded it to, right click it, click on properties, go down to security, click the unblock button, save, and then reopen the sheet, and then you'll get to this warning that says macros have been disabled. We need to do that, so we will enable content. And then I like to turn off the save button up here, the auto save, because I like to do my saves as I go manually. I'm just Control S here and there kind of thing. That's it. That's all you need to get started. You need Excel. If you haven't paid for it yet, I think I'm right now on the monthly fee of $6.99 a month. Or you can just use Google Sheets online for free, and it'll still give you this template that you can do everything on, but you won't be able to do the most important thing at the very end, which is to generate your own log, which is what you use to copy and paste into Open Dominion to actually get your automated processes going. So you can also usually just talk to a realmie or a pack mate or a realm mate that you end up with and ask them to make your own log for you if you want to save the money. So those are the two options you have. All right, and that was it. You got everything you need.
All right, here we go. We are going to be running ourselves through the wiki opendominion.net my first protection guide. I went ahead and already filled everything in, so I'll just be walking you through, but if you go through the website, you'll be able to follow along just going through the website and following each step, and you'll get exactly to where you need to be in case anything isn't clear enough here. All right, so if this is your first time running through the Excel sim, don't worry about all the things you see. Just kind of read through this little green area and just understand that all we really are going to be touching is anything that has an orange cell. To begin here, on this exact example, we're going to start with human. So we'll click that, and we're now in human mode. First things first is we'll go down here through all these tabs. You might want to click on them just to get an idea of what each one is. I like to zoom in down here on the bottom right corner to about 100% just so I can get a little more clarity. I'm on a laptop, so it's a little harder to see everything.
And just know that the scroll bar over here is what we're going to be using the most, along with these tabs. All right, so first things first, for every single sim that you want to start, we are going to go into the military tab, click and going through the draftees section and setting our draft rate to 90%. This will be empty to when you start it for your first time. You enter 90%, hit enter, and it'll populate 90%. There we go. And now your draftee is all set to 90% from here on out. That is the most important thing, because what we really need is draftees to get things started. The one difference that I will say, that the Open Dominion guide that we're looking at here on the wiki is a little old and doesn't have quite some of the new things. For example, it's going to be capped at 520 acres, which is kind of small these days, but I think it's important to just understand the fundamentals of everything we're going through and how to look at everything. So we'll keep it simple. We'll follow the guide all the way through, and we'll end up at 520 acres and have a actually pretty decent offense and defense. So it's not too bad, actually. It's just a little small land-wise. But the one change we're going to do, and this will actually populate by itself thanks to the new guide by Yami, or the new sim sheet, is that we'll release 150 archers. It's already plugged in here, but it's not actually in the guide, but it's actually pretty important to having the amount of acres and all that we're going to be able to explore. So next, what you want to do is go to the rezone page. Just click on the little tab down here, rezone. And you're going to want to copy exactly what you see here. -10 plains, -20 forest, 35 hills, 25 swamp, -20 cavern, -10 water. Again, you can follow all that on the guide, and it's total 60 total acres that we'll be moving around. And that's what rezoning is. All that is changing one land type to another that you want more so. And you'll know it's all okay when right here it just says okay. For example, if we change that to -5, oh no, the math is incorrect. There's something wrong here, and it'll light up in red. And so you go back through the little wiki, you'll see, oh, I messed up. It's -10, not -5 water. Hit enter, boom, fixed. Perfect. And this is hour 1 right down here. You'll see hour 1. That's the most important hour. When I go to a new fresh page, I always like to scroll up. You might be going back and forth through pages. Make sure you scroll up to make sure you're on hour 1, especially at the very first hour. All right. So next we're going to go to the construction tab, and we will line it up a little better. There we go. Boom. And following the guide, on hour 1, we will build 55 factories, 15 towers, 30 temples. And that is our hour 1 initial buildings. Factories are important because from here on out, 12 hours later, everything will be at minimal price. And this is slightly a little more than what you would want these days, but in the next video, the part 2 of this video, I will have a more updated, more advanced, more intricate build. But for this for this first take or first video, we're going to keep it simple, basic, and just follow the guide all the way through. So we'll build the 55 factories. From here on out, for the rest of the round, or for the rest of the sim, everything will be way cheaper, and it'll save you a lot of money in the long run. Next, you want towers. You want your towers built at hour 1 because after hour 13, your mana will start coming in, and you'll be able to cast all your important spells like Harmony and Midas Touch. And you only need a few. You don't need that many towers to actually just start casting those spells every 12 hours. So that's why we have only 15. Temples are important because they, as a percentage, have population growth. So the sooner you build them, the sooner you'll start churning out more peasants, the more platinum you'll have earlier, which this whole game is all about, having the most amount of platinum the earliest you can. All right. So that's hour one. We're just paying attention to hour one, this first bar, this first row up here. All right, next. According to the guide, after we did all that, you will explore 21 planes. And again, I like to zoom in just a tiny bit, make it a little clearer. So it says to explore as many planes as you can, and we can only explore up to 21 currently. You'll notice that right here, this is the resources area, and you'll see when you start tinkering that it really all comes down to whether or not you have enough platinum to explore everything. So we'll type in 24 just to see how it messes up. Oh no, we can't explore that many, minus 400. So we actually are over our platinum budget, and we actually don't have enough to explore that much. But just for following the guide's sake, it says to explore 21. We'll explore 21. We actually want to explore a total of 29 by the earliest we can. So we're going to explore 21. Oh, careful. Be careful. If you try to drag things, sometimes it messes up. So be careful when you click around. Just always hit cancel or no if it says to replace. So yeah, we'll explore 21 plus 4 plus 4. And we'll have 29 total acres. And that'll get us to 299 acres, which is a big cutoff point. You can tell it's important to note, and if you scroll over down here, it'll tell you how much draftees cost and the max acres. And these are the kind of big three that we'll pay attention to. So at 299 acres, we'll be doing most of our exploring here because it costs the least amount of draftees, 4 draftees. Once we pass 299 and we get to 300 acres, it'll cost 25% more draftees. One more draftee, it's a big deal. It's 25%. That's a huge bump. And so here's the cutoff: 299, 419, 632 acres. Those are the numbers you kind of want to always have in the back of your head when you're exploring. All right, so that's the first 3 hours. Keep it simple. We're not going to do too much else. And that's kind of it for right now in the first hour. All right, so next, following the guide. Oh, one last thing that's pretty important to always know. So we go to our production tab, and over here is where you take your platinum bonus. It says take plat bonus, and we'll always usually be taking that at the very end of the 24-hour cycle. We took it right here at the very end, 23. We're not quite there yet, but I just want to explain that little part. So we will scroll all the way over down here to the National Bank. This is a pretty important area, kind of gets lost in the shuffle because it's kind of far and out of the way. But thanks to Yami, even though it doesn't say it in the guide, it is now updated to where we trade our gems into platinum. Actually, it might say it in the guide. Let me see. Ah, it does. It does say it. Convert 10,000 gems into 20,000 platinum. That's very important because investing gems just isn't do a whole lot for you right now, but 20,000 platinum at the first tick is actually quite big. So that's a big deal. So we'll use that platinum instead to just boost our economy, get our buildings and exploring going, and just really jumpstart things. So we'll be coming back to this National Bank area frequently. You can exchange bank and lumber and ore and all gems for platinum or whatever else kind of resource you need. And later on, we'll be doing a little bit of that. But whatever you want to trade in, you do minus sign, and then you plus, or you just leave it as a non-minus sign, knowing the proper ratios. So gems is a 2-to-1 ratio. 10,000 gems turns into 20,000 platinum. But if you do the reverse, if you do 5,000 ore to get platinum, you only get half because it's a 1-to-2 ratio. So just keep that in mind. All right, next. Okay, now we'll be going probably more 12-hour increments here. This is kind of how exploring and building and all that kind of works. So, at the 12-hour mark, we will build leftover. Now that our factories have come in, our initial 55 factories have come in, now we are getting all our buildings reduced. Currently in this round, the 37 test round, 37.5, I guess, we are going to be getting a 50% discount on all our building costs. So that's nice. So we will start off by building 51 alchemies. You'll know you have the proper amount over here on this barren side. So say I erase that and I change that to 0. You'll see over here we have 51 barren plane. So we will build 51 alchemies. Boom, 21. And you see all the way down here, we have 20 barren mountains, which we will build into ore mines. And last but not least, we have still 10 barren water, which we will build into 10 docks. Perfect. Now, we built all that. I don't think we're exploring or doing any more rezoning currently. Not quite yet. All right. So that was our that was 12 hours after our hour 1, so technically hour 13 on the sheet. But next hour, because we explored the initial 2144, we're now having 4 more planes come in here on this hour and 4 more planes here. And so we will build 4 and 4 alchemies. And that's kind of all the big building and stuff that we'll do for now. Alchemies are, why we're building so many alchemies is because that gives us the most platinum currently. Technically, homes, once you hit a higher bonus, peasants give you a lot of platinum, but if you read the little wiki guide, it explains peasants and platinum and all that a little better. But alchemies are just really, really, really good in protection. So that's kind of the main building you will be building most of the time to start. All right. So moving across into our magic tab, we go to magic down here. You will start off by building or doing our most important spell, which is harmony. And you see how it's already checked out. So if I hit delete, it'll go away, but we won't have enough mana to build it hour. Well, actually, let's see. Maybe we can build it hour 1. Oh, we technically can, but sure, why not? I'll just delete that, and we'll just start training it right here. And it's not gonna. It'll make a bit of a difference actually. All right, so we'll do this. We'll trade hour 1 there, and when you hit the 1, it'll turn into a check mark, and that means it's activated for the next 12 hours. And that's why you see the little color difference. That's all of it's being shaded in. And I made a little error here, so I'm actually going to change that and just hit that little button, because it's when you build 15 towers, you actually get a little more mana the first hour. And so I'm just going to quickly change all these. But this is kind of how it all works. Oh, I didn't explain that part, I guess. You want to be working your way down. Everything in Excel, nothing really crash. It'll just pop up as errors. You'll see red squares, red cells. If you change something up here at hour 1 that messes things, down here you might see red squares, and that just means now you've changed things. So always work your way down. Work across, and then you'll notice, and work down all the way from hour 1 all the way till protection ends right here at this big green intersection, or big green highlighted box. That's when we all become out of protection. So this is kind of how you want your spells to look. You just cast it at hour 14, which is 1 hour after your initial towers got built. And so we'll build harmony, and then 2 ticks later we'll be able to afford Midas touch, and you just kind of fill those in every 12 hours, kind of like that. We also will build in mining strength at hour 28. But you'll be able to tell and mess around with all this yourself. But that's the big one. We want to start at hour 14 harmony and hour 16 Midas touch. In other sims, this is all going to kind of change a little bit here and there, but for the sake of this particular sim, we will stick to that. All right. So that is pretty much the first day. We are just going to be clicking on the exploring and the construction tabs, going back and forth through them. All right, so we left off at building our last alchemies. So we'll go across and go down here, first thing we'll do is explore maximum acreage according to the wiki sim, or the wiki page. It wants us to explore 99 acres from 299, and it'll get us to 398 because we want to explore as much as we can while we still have 299 acres according to this. So we're going to max that out by exploring 84 plains. You just put in 84, enter, and then 15. We want some more ore mines, so we're going to explore some more mountains. Now, after those are built, we can put a 1 here and then hit enter, and it'll turn into a check mark because that is our land bonus. That's 20 free acres of your home, which as a human is going to be on plains. But it does that after the exploring due to the way everything is set up here. So don't worry about that too much. But once you get to the log part at the end, it'll tell you the proper order of doing things. So pay attention to that. All right, so we explored. We took our land bonus. Now we got to remember that we have 20 barren plains. We delete this real quick just to show you. All right, we got 20 barren plains over here. Let's make sure we build them. 20, because we want more alchemies according to the wiki. All right, awesome. So now, again, we're mainly just sticking to the Explore tab and the Construction tab, and we'll scroll down a little bit because those 84 plains and the 15 mountains that we explored, we can now build. So we will build once they've come in. We can tell they've come in because the land shifts right here from 299 to 398. And we will build 84 more alchemies and 15 more ore mines. Our factories are still below the current 10% threshold that we want for our maximum bonus. So that's great. All right. So right here, we'll go back to the exploring page because right before our land comes in at 398, we want to explore. Remember that once we pass 299, our exploring is going to get more expensive in terms of draftees and platinum, but the draftees is the most important thing. So at the very last tick here, explore as much as you can, but for the sake of the sim, we will only want to explore 82 more acres. You'll know if we have too much, like say I try to explore 200. Oh no, these are now minuses. That means we've gone over our limit. We do not have enough to explore 200 acres. So that was just to show you where to look for an error in case you see any minus sign on the draftees or platinum. That means that you don't have enough and you're going to have errors along the way. A quick side note, if you want to double check that you're all good as you work along, you click on the production tab over here, you scroll this back over and take a look on this side, because if you have any errors in this production side of your status, you'll see red. Red means you are missing platinum or lumber or any resource you don't have enough of. So, or food. Food. Currently, you're not going to run out because this is an outdated build, but just in case for future reference, because you might be destroying buildings and things like that. Just come back to this production tab and just scroll around, make sure nothing's red. So I'll show you real quick. Remember we did the minus 200 or 200 that we tried to do. It shows up over here, but it's not in all red. But if you go to the production tab, oh, look at that. All red right here. We are broke. Minus 150,000 platinum. And again, no worries. It works from top to bottom. So as long as we go back here and we change things, 82, enter, which is what the strategy calls for. Boom. Back to the production tab. Our red is gone. No worries. This is why Excel is awesome. All right. So we explored the last 82 acres because that's going to get us to 480 land. We're going to get 2 more daily bonuses later for another 40 total acres, and that'll get us to 520, which is what the sim wanted, the sim guide, the wiki guide wants us to do. So we're following along great. All right, 82 acres explored. Now we will construct those final 82 acres. Now, we are only at, according to the guide, it tells us to build 28 alchemies and 54 smithies. We need smithies because smithies reduce our unit costs. And we want them built at the latest at hour 49 because 12 hours later is when we'll start building our troops, because 12 hours after that we will come OOP, this big highlighted text. So whenever we are trying to build units or whenever we're building exploring land, you want to always make sure that whatever you've explored will come in early enough to where by hour 49 you have built your last smithy, so that 12 hours later at hour 61 you can build all your elite troops at full reduced cost and have them ready by the time we go OOP. So that's a big important distinction to remember when you're building things. Build your smithies at hour 49 by hour 49. And we get these extra 20 acres from each land bonus that we took. So hour 48 and 49, we have 20 and 20, because at hour 48 and 49, we took one daily bonus and another daily bonus back to back. This is at the very end of day 2, hour 48, and this is hour 1 of day 3. And so we have those 20 free acres, and we use that to bolster our smithies to maximum amount, 94 total smithies. And those are the last buildings we'll need. If you want to double check your numbers and make sure that they're accurate, you should kind of have this planned out beforehand, but the wiki didn't really state that. So I'll run you through that now. Okay, so we'll go through overview. We have currently everything set up. We have our land built. And so you'll see right here, you scroll down just a little bit from the top. You scroll down a little bit down here to acres, and you'll see total smithies 94, and we have just above 18%, which is what we want. We want at least 18% for the maximum cost. So our 94 smithies, 18%. And you can see all your percentages for everything else you have here. The docks are a little low, but again, we're just following this guide. But we have a lot of alchemies. 42% of our land is alchemies. We have a lot of money coming in, at least for this land size. That's a lot. But the main thing I just want to focus on is smithies at OOP. That's the main thing you want to use the sim for, is to make sure everything's built at the right time. All right, and so that was just a quick way to check that out. So we're done exploring. We have reached our acreage at 520. We are done constructing our buildings at hour 49. And so at hour 61, now we'll get into the fun stuff. Military, training troops. We did also fill in, remember to always fill all these in every 12 hours. We cast Mining Strength, Midas Touch, and Harmony. Harmony takes priority, then Midas Touch, then Mining Strength once you have enough mana and if you want to. Some races don't really need it, or don't need ore at all. So just make sure it's the proper race. You don't need it for every single race. Harmony, you can check your production tab, but you stop getting peasants right around the 60-hour mark or somewhere around here. And so you don't really need to cast Harmony after that. Just Midas Touch really is the most important spell to keep up every 12 hours after that. I'll just do it one more time just to show you. Boom. Forever and ever Midas Touch. And all right, so back to the topic. All right, we're in the train area. We have all our buildings built. We're at the max acres we want. We'll scroll down to where the guide tells us the numbers we should have. We will train. It says 450 or so knights, but due to something or other, I think because factories are a little give a little more back then, or maybe the troop cost changed from there to here, but I'm not able to afford the 450 knights. But I was able to train the 525 cavalry. But if we delete both of these and this, All right, so we have almost 700,000 platinum and 62,000 ore here. That's quite a lot. And so, according to the guide, it'll tell us to do 525 cavalry. All right, and now we have 276,000 left, and it'll say 450, but we're not going to have enough. So I'll just do a nice even 420. Why? Because I can. And we'll have 7,000 platinum left. You could use that to train a little bit more elites, but I like to save a little bit of extra platinum because you're going to want to train some spec D here. All right, so elites work by 12-hour cycles. These are here, the knights and the cavalry. So you want to have them trained right here at this 61-hour mark. And then over here, they'll be ready by the time we come OP. So that's perfect. But we also have 9-hour training spec DP, the specialists. And the archers are what we have as human. So we will train as much as we can. For the sake of the video, we'll do 500. Be careful. I do that up. Cancel. I don't know what's happening. So I'm just going to hit escape. Thank you. All right. Whenever that happens, just hit escape. That should fix things. All right. We have 8,000 platinum left. We could probably train a little bit more. Let's see how far that gets us. What's that? 540, I think. 8,000 platinum. Yep, 540. We have 1,000 platinum left over. I like to cut it close here because it seems sometimes when you go to generate a log, which I'll show you in a little bit how to do that, it'll kind of it might get messed up when you try to upload it to Open Dominion website. So I try to keep this platinum at 1,000, and that'll keep me from having any errors. If you cut it to like as close as you can, like 1 platinum, there might be a glitch, and then the whole thing kind of gets messed up. So you'll have to like come back here and readjust the numbers. I just do this, and then when I actually start to play, I'll plug in a couple more units manually and just leave the core of the sim perfect. And that's it. You'll have enough units for OOP. These will train in 9 hours, and we'll have 420 knights, 540 archers, 525 cavalry at OOP. And that'll get us to 5,700 defense with everything all in, and all out, about 4,000 offense. So you'll probably lose, right here it says, what's that, about 4,000 defense if we take out our archers. So that's not a ton of offense. It's pretty much a 1-to-1 offense defense, 4,000 offense, 4,000 defense all out. But with Ares Call, that's 4,400 defense, which isn't great, but this is a smaller acre land size. But back in the day, that was pretty good numbers. That was pretty safe. Now these days, that's probably not too safe. Maybe at 500 acres. But yeah, you want to look at this and just realize that it'll tell you archers, knights, cavalry, and your spearmen, and for whatever races, it'll tell you how much defense. This is the raw side and the modded side, and with Ares Call, it'll go up to another 10% if you put it in the magic. All right, so that's it. I kind of go down here in this area to see how much platinum I actually have spent. Where is it? Right here. Just to see, like, if you change some things here and there, it'll tell you different numbers and how much more money or less money you made. So I like looking at these to kind of see where I'm at and whether or not the last sim was better than the other one. And so yeah, we have everything set up, everything built. This was hopefully nice and easy. The last and most important thing for you is to go over here to the log. All right, so if you have Excel proper and everything, your macros enabled, just go to generate log. Now everything is generated by hour. You click copy log, and now you can copy and paste that onto Notepad or whatever works for you. And that is actually what you use to copy and paste into Open Dominion site. to get your sim uploaded, sorry. And so, yeah, copy paste that, put it in, and you should be good to go. If you don't have Excel, you can talk to maybe a packmate or a realmmate or someone on the Dominion chat on Discord, and maybe they might be able to help you out in case you're just using like Google Sheets or a non-paid version of Excel. This is probably all the same thing for Mac. I see that they have the same capabilities on Mac. So, oh, I did forget to mention. Oh, I guess maybe in the advanced guide I'll talk about the proper copy and paste. If you copy and paste things through Excel from Excel sheets, just make sure when you copy and paste, you use paste special. So we'll, like for example, we'll Control C. But if you're gonna paste something, you don't Control V. Please, anytime you're copying from one sheet to another, hit paste values. Click on that because it'll only give you the number and not mess things up. Otherwise, because of all the formulas going on different sites or on the different sheets and tabs and stuff. All right, so that was just to show you a big important thing. So yeah, I think that's everything you guys will need. This was a pretty straightforward, easy copy from the wiki Open Dominion guide. And yeah, if we will now get into the more advanced guide after this. Okay, here is the more advanced guide with the latest changes from the test round in round 37. This is a sim taken from a lizardfolk sim that was given to me previous round, and I updated it to a human that ended up doing pretty well. I did I think I was a top 2 attacking human at the very end, almost 5k acres, like 1.1 million net worth, and most of the help came from my realmies, but they also helped me with the sim, and I came up with something like this. So 750 acres. I like to have a lot of land OOP and just attacking later. We squeezed in 44 diamond mines, but we had a lot of really good efficiency with a lot of alchemies, max smithies, and everything else we needed. An extra 60 barracks is in there as well. So all right, let's get to it. First things first, we click on the military tab and we set to 90% draft rate. Next, we'll slide over. And the slight difference is we'll now be releasing 8 draftees and releasing our spies and wizards, 25 of each. Also still releasing our spec DP. All right, next we'll go over to the rezone page. And you can see right here, the first 26 or so hours, this is all the rezoning we're gonna do. So if you pause here, you can just input everything and you'll be A-okay. Next, we'll get to constructing our hour 1 buildings and doing the first 12 or so hours so you can see how this is all set up. And we will start with 33 factories, 13 towers, and 49 temples. This is a very bare bones strategy. We're going to be very low on farms, food, lumber, and mana. So that's why we have only 13 towers. It's going to be very minimal, maximizing the platinum that we can get through every tick. Something of note to know early on is that we're going to destroy 10 homes and 24 farms at the 12-hour mark. Technically a 13-hour mark on the sim page. 13-hour mark here. That way, when we rezone, we have enough land to build up our 99 total alchemies. Because when we go to the explore page, here we go. Here's the first 20 so hours. If you pause here and you input everything, you'll be able to set all this up, and we explore our first hills, and then exploring some plains that we're going to need for our alchemies and our factories. So now we have our 55 plains here that's going to be going mainly to smithies, and we're going to start exploring our mountains for ore mines, finishing off some factories here because as our land comes in, our percentages are going to go down, and we want to keep around 10%. And we have 13 docks we're going to need here, 15 in total. And so that's the first 20 or so hours, and you just pause and see all that. Okay, and so here in the production tab, if you scroll all the way to the far right, you'll get to the National Bank. And this is an important part because right around the 19-hour mark, I start trading in lumber for platinum because when I copied the sim over, we had way less platinum as a result of everything. I actually did it up here in my other strategy, but I figured I'd just do it in one big sum over here just to not complicate things. But this is standard now, the gems to platinum. So this is just a little chunk here that you need to copy, or not copy, but also input to make sure you have enough platinum for everything else. And then at the very end, towards the at the 57-hour mark, we're going to trade in a little bit of ore for lumber because we ran out of lumber over here. As you can see, we're down to 21 lumber. And OOP, we want to trade in some lumber now for some ore because we're a little low, and some platinum as well. Might as well. We have extra lumber that we don't need. We're not attacking or having any massive amount of land come in for quite some time. So just be aware of those few little changes in the National Bank. Again, under the production tab, all the way to the right. All right, so we'll go back to our construction page. Actually, no, sorry. We'll go to our magic because at the 14-hour mark, we're going to start casting Harmony. And then 2 ticks later, we will start casting Midas Touch. And we're going to have those up every 12 hours till at least the 60-hour mark when Harmony drops off. But up here at tick 30 or hour 38, we're going to start casting Guy's Watch. At least in this strategy, because we went really low on the farms and we were going to start starving. So that's why we did that. Around the 52-hour mark, we now have enough mana to we can start casting Mining Strength. And as a human, you need a lot of ore for the cavalry. So casting Mining Strength is important. If your race doesn't need it, obviously you can skip Mining Strength. But definitely you want to have Midas Touch up, and at least for the strategy, Guy's Watch. And at hour 73, start casting Ares Call. Very important. All right, so we'll scroll down a little bit here. We did it up to the 20-hour mark, and so from 25 on down, these are the last big chunk of exploring we're going to do. It's going to be a lot of plains, some mountains for our last ore mines, a few swamps for our towers we're going to need, and then this chunk over here of hills is going to be for barracks. These over here for farms. This is some more towers, some more docks, and here's our last bit of land. The last important or semi-important piece of land is going to be our diamond mines that we're going to be building. So now we got all that exploring. We can scroll down a little bit here on our construction page and see that we are building from the 99 alchemies. We build our factories over here, some more alchemies over here. And that's kind of the first 24 hours. That's kind of all we're really focusing on, building alchemies and factories. And here we are at hour 30. We start building more alchemies. We start our ore mines. We build the remaining factories and docks. I think I said that already. All right, so we're back here at the hour 37 plus mark. And now we've been doing 9 farms because we're going to start starving soon, finishing our last ore mines and some extra towers. And then here's a very big important thing for every single race that is going to be attacking at the very least. You're going to want to build all your smithies here. You can't build any smithies past this. And if your strategy requires less land or more land, you may need to adjust how many smithies you built till you at least have 18%. But but the last one you build has to be at the 49-hour mark. Here we were able to squeeze in some homes in here and some farms, and after that, here on out, we built some barracks, some more farms, some towers, some docks, and our last remaining diamond mines. And after that, there's no more building, at least for this strategy. All right. So we got all that, the exploration out of the way. We didn't need to rezone anymore after the 25-hour mark. We got all our spells in line. Now we make sure that we will start training our troops. So we will slide over back to our train page, go down here, and as you can see, I had already started training my units just to see how far I could push the strategy. So I was able to train 420 knights, 193 cavalries, 25 spies, 25 wizards. Now, you might be wondering why I have a little bit leftover platinum and ore that I could use to train more units, but I actually am capped here by my draftees. At this hour mark, at the 64-hour mark, which is the last hour that I can train units that'll come in on time for out of protection, I actually run out of draftees. So you have to do a little bit of playing with the numbers, a little tweaking here to leave a little bit of platinum left over so that you can train every single draftee that you have so that you maximize the amount of units that you train. And this was the number that I was able to come out with. Now, whenever you change this up and you mess around buildings and build different things earlier or later or whatever, all of that affects this whole part. So that's really where every little tweak comes through at the very end. So I was able to train. I also recommend, because it's automated, just train your remaining 9 hours or 8 hours worth. I do a few hours of cavalry to get my op up, because I'm pretty safe with this amount of defense right here. But I'm now going to spend the next 12 hours plus just training offense, so I can have start building my army and start attacking as soon as I can. So I train some elites. I build a little chunk of spec DP, and then go back to elites, spec DP, and rinse and repeat. Kind of how I do things. Once you go OP, you scan, see what top op is, and you can start planning out what you're going to be training on after that. So that's basically it. Once again, we come out OP, 750 land. We come out with about 5,500 raw defense, with Ares Call about 6k. That's pretty safe. You might want to train it, talk to your realmies. Maybe they might give you some advice. You might want a little more defense, a little less offense, kind of thing. It really depends round by round. And to future-proof this, just always talk to your realmies. They'll give you the best advice, especially if you land some good people. So that's it. Remember at the very end to go to your log. Well, I guess quickly before that, just you can go down here to see exactly how much, when you tweak, whether or not your numbers go up. I like to look at these numbers, total plat expense, and then like your training, how much you trained. So yeah, if these numbers go up with your tweaks, you did good. If they go down, you probably messed something up and you're doing worse, actually. So all right, so once all that's good and you're done, you go to generate log, copy log, print that. Copy that, put that in a notepad or something, or you can just copy it straight to Open Dominion website. If you don't have Excel and you can't make this part work, see if you can have a Realmy or Packmate help you out with it, and then you can copy and paste your log in there.
All right, so just a quick recap of everything we've learned so far. Remember to change your draft rate to 90%, release the units hour 1, convert your gems into platinum, build your first buildings hour 1, the factories, towers, and temples, and rezone your land so you can get there. Wait 12 hours or so while exploring your plains and hills in there, and then build everything in priority. Explore and build in priority. You need your plains for your alchemies and your hills for your factories, and then go from there. And just remember, before hour 49, you need your smithies in. or building. So just remember those, and don't forget your docks and some towers here and there, and farms if you followed my destroying farm strat. All right, well, that's everything. If you have any questions, please comment below or message me on Discord, and I'll be happy to help you out. I'm still new-ish to the game. I've only been playing a few rounds now, but I really enjoy making sims. I can spend hours just doing it. So, but I did have to relearn and teach myself, and it only took me a few hours to really get good at it. So, I hope you learned something, and you'll keep tweaking and learning, tweaking the strats and learning how to improve them as you go along. So, thank you for watching the video, and have a great round.